This conference will now be recorded.
So basically data type is nothing but we have, as I told you, Java system is a very child kind of thing. Okay, so we have to tell each and everything to the system that this is a data type. So this is how it should store all these things we have to mention. Okay, so how we say, right, it is the package. In this package we have this code, all these things I told yesterday, right? So first, before getting into the data types, we'll just have a recap about the yesterday session. Okay, so whatever we learned yesterday, we'll just go through once in a fast way. Okay, so as I told you, why Java? Because it has a last lot of frameworks and libraries it supports, and we are using Eclipse editor because it gives suggestions when you type something, and it is open source. And Java is a simple program. It was created in 1995. Okay, and it supports all kind of platforms. Okay, it is platform independent. It is an open source. It gives multi-threading support, so you can perform several tasks simultaneously, and it is robust. Okay, it will automatically allocate and deallocate memories. So, and it is more secure, and as I told, it is platform independent as well. Okay. So this is how a class will be looking like. So whenever you are creating a class, the class name should start with a capital letter, and if you have a second word in that, then that also has to start with capital letter. Okay. So this is the syntax for a basic Hello World program, and I asked you guys to create this program, right? Then everyone tried it. Can you unmute yourself or
Yes,
just ping in the group?
yes.
Okay. Was it easy for you guys to understand? Okay. So similarly for print method, I told, right, there are two print methods. One is print and one is println. So whenever you use println, it will move the cursor to the next line. So that is the basic that we learned yesterday, correct? And the package. So the package is nothing but a folder. It gives a proper structure to the folder. That is why we are using the package, all these things in our thing. Okay. Similarly, the package name should start with lowercase. And then for every program, we should definitely use this main method because it is the starting point of the JVM. Okay, whenever there is a program, when you click on the execution button, it will automatically search for this main method. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So similarly, there should be a semicolon while ending the statement. So whenever you are writing some program, and that program should end with semicolon. Okay, each and every line. So that is what we saw in the introduction, right? Then we saw about class and objects. So do you have any doubt in the class and objects and OOPS concepts? Guys, be interactive. We are just 10 members in the team, right? So you can be interactive also instead of muting yourself. Just be interactive so that it will be good.
Yeah, we are okay with that. Things still happened yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. So this is OOPS concept, and we saw Java follows OOPS concept, and the main concepts are class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction and encapsulation. Okay. The main purpose of OOPS concept is to give a clear structure to the programs, okay, and it allows the code to be reused in various classes, whatever the program that you are creating, right? You can keep on reusing. That is the main focus of OOPS concept, okay. And as I told you, there are four pillars of OOPS concept. That is inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction. So all these things we'll be seeing in detail when we are moving to the next stages, okay. So no need to worry now. And then how will you recognize a car? All these things we saw, right? So based on the features, we'll recognize. Similarly, a class can be defined based on the blueprint, and it is a set of instructions or a template. Okay, and class contains methods, variables, and other stuff. Okay, and we can have more than one variable or whatever. It can be any whatever you want to write in a program, you can write. Okay, that is the basic thing. And the class should always start with the class keyword, and it should follow the class name. And it should have a curly brackets like this. It should start with a curly bracket and it should close with the curly brackets. So this is the basic syntax. Okay. So this is how a basic class will be looking like. Okay, so we will have a class name created in the class name as car. Okay, that we will be giving specifiers in the front, and then we'll be declaring the values like this. So for learning this only, we are going to learn today about the data types today. Okay, so here you can see, right, whenever you are giving some kind of text, okay, you are giving it inside double quotes. Okay, and you are saying that it is a string to the system. Similarly, when you are typing some number, and then we are saying to the system that it is an integer. Okay, but we don't have double quotes here. Okay, we will see what is the reason, all these things in the data types session. Okay, similarly, object is nothing but an instance of a class. Okay, so it will have state, behavior, and identity, all those things. So that is called as object. And whenever we are creating an object, it should have this kind of syntax. You have to give the class name, and you have to give a reference name for it, and then new keyword, and then class name should be given, an open bracket and close bracket and semicolon. Okay, this is how we have to create an object.
So for a class, that memory won't be allocated, but for an
Until you
object,
execute the program, it will not be it will not be allocated. Okay, only when the methods and properties are allocated, it will start getting allocated.
okay.
That and all will be in the back end. You will not be able to see anything. You should not worry about those things. I have given you a clear understanding, so that I have given added those things in the document. Okay, no need to worry all those things. And creation of object can be in two ways. You can directly declare everything in one single program, or one single line, or you can create it like this. You have to first declare the variable. The name should be declared to the particular class, and then using that variable name, you can declare the object. Is it clear? So far, you guys don't have any doubts, right? Objects, classes, and hello world program. What is Java and what are the tools required? All these things you guys are clear, right? Everyone?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
super.
Yeah. Yes.
So now we'll see what is a data type. Okay. So data type is a specifier, okay, that allocates different sizes and types of values that can be stored in the variable. Okay. For example, the car program that we saw yesterday, right? So this hello world, we didn't use any variable here. Okay, we just had the print statement alone. This declaration is not required. I'll just remove it. So here we are not allocating anything. We are not storing anything. Correct. So we are not saying the system that we are going to save anything here. But whereas in calculator, when we created the methods, okay, I stored a value called Hari in this name variable. Correct. If I don't declare this, it will throw an error. Can you see? If I just give a name and I wanted to store this in this, it will say, what is this? Variable declarator expected, okay, after this token. Okay. So whenever you are using something you want to store, then you have to define the what data type that you are going to use. Then only Java will understand. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So data types will tell the Java compiler what kind of data a variable is going to be stored. Okay. Java is statistically typed, so which means you must declare a variable type before using it. As I told you, before using it, first line you have to say that it is a string, because I've stored inside the double quotes and I'm telling the system that it is a string. Okay. So if I say it as int, it will throw an error. So if I declare it as an integer, it will automatically throw error saying that mismatch. Cannot convert string to integer. It is automatically identifying it as a string, correct? Because it has two apostrophes, right? Because of this quotes, this double quotes, it will automatically, whenever you are typing two double quotes, it will automatically identify that you are referring to a string. But when you are saying it as integer, it will automatically throw an error. So for example, if I'm saying I want to store 100, then the error will go off. Is it clear? So this is called variable. The name I have mentioned here is called variable. The integer that I have mentioned in the beginning is called as data type. You guys are clear with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have two kinds of data types in Java. Okay, one is primitive data type, which are predefined keywords. Okay, in the Java, and the other one is non-primitive data type. So when I create a class, okay, that will be called as a non-primitive data type. And there are arrays. So these topics we will be seeing in the future. Don't need to worry. So just understand that classes, array, string, and interfaces. All these things are non-primitive data type. Okay. Whereas the primitive data types that are predefined by Java are byte, short, integer, long, float, double, character, and boolean. Okay, these are all primitive data types. So we'll see what is primitive data type. So similarly, when we start with byte, its size is 1 byte of. It is a predefined one. So all these data types are predefined in Java. You cannot change anything in this. Okay, it will be predefined. Is it clear? That is why we call it as primitive data type. You guys are getting it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be
Yes.
available inside the Java library itself. Okay, you cannot change anything. You cannot. It doesn't share values also in between. So whenever you are typing it as byte, whatever you store inside, it should be between minus 128 to 127. So let's see. Let's check here. So if I want to type it as byte, can you see when I type it as byte, it is automatically turning. The color is changing to purple color. Is it visible, guys, for you, or you want me to increase the size?
Better to increase a little bit.
Is it visible now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So when I typed byte here, it automatically changed to this color, correct? So that is why we say that it is a primitive data type which is predefined here. Okay. When I type integer also, you can see it is getting color changed. Whereas when I try to print it, type it as string, okay, it is not getting color changed. Can you see? Because as I told you, these are non-primitive data types which are defined by user. Okay, so these things are defined by program. I mean, in the Java itself it is defined, whereas for non-primitive, these are all these things are created by a programmer who is going to use. Okay, primitive values do not share state or order with the primitive values. The size and type of the variables are already specified, and it has no additional methods. It cannot do anything else. Okay, is it clear, guys?
Yes.
So whenever you are initializing, you are storing some text kind of thing, then you have to definitely use string, and it should have s. It is case sensitive. Okay, so you have to mention that it should start with a capital letter. Okay, string should start with capital letter and give some variable. Okay, and then it should be inside double quotes. This is the syntax. Whatever you type inside the double quotes, it will be stored inside this variable as string. Whereas for integer, you have to give it as number itself. You should not use this double quotes. Okay. So as I told you, if you are trying to save a value in the byte, it should be only these values between minus 128 and to 127. Okay. Let's see what is happening if we try to store more than byte b equal to minus 127. It is not throwing any warning message. Can you see here? Whereas if I try to save 128, I mean 129, then it will throw an error. Can you see? Mismatch cannot convert into 2 byte. So it can store only 3 digit numbers, and in negative way, it can store only up to 128. Similarly, when you try with plus value, in positive value, it should be up to 127 only. It can accept. That is how the program has been designed. Is it clear?
Yes.
So similarly, we have for byte, short, for everything we have a limitation. Okay. That is the reason most of the programs in your real time you'll be using integer in your code. Okay. So maximum value can be, I'll show you the what are the maximum values for this. So if you see here, for byte, the size is 8 byte and it should have value only from 127 to 128 minus. Okay. Similarly, for short data type, you can use 5 digits. Okay, from plus 32,767. If you go a little one value, if you try to increment, it will not allow you to store it in short. It will throw you an error and tell you to change it to integer. Similarly, for integer, you can have this kind of this many numbers like 3, 6, 9, 10 digit numbers with around. It can start with 2. If you increment this also, it will throw an error. Are you guys getting it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you have a more than 10 numbers you want to store, okay, then what you have to do is you have to use long. And these are for integers. Okay, so when you're using byte, short, int, long, all these things are categorized to integers. Whenever you are trying to store some number, then you have to use these types of data types. And for long alone, what you have to do is whenever you are trying to store some value, you should save with a capital letter L at the end. So for example, if I want to store for integer, byte, short and all, it is fine. You can store whatever value that you have for 3 digit numbers, right? So it is not throwing any error, right? So when you try to store a value for L, so more than 10 digits I'm trying to save, but it is throwing error. Can you see? So once I give a capital L at the end, the error will go up. So we have to tell the system that I'm trying to store a value which is long. Is it clear? Okay. So floating point. Floating point is nothing but the decimal points that we have in the number. Whenever you are trying to save a number which has more than 7 digits, you have to start using double. If it is up to 7 digits, you can use float, and it has a memory size of 32. And double has a memory size of 64. Okay. So similarly, when you are using long, you have to give the L as last letter. I told you, right? So similarly for float also, you have to tell the system that it is float by giving a small f.
One small doubt here.
Yeah.
If we are trying to multiply, for example, in two integer variables, so if
Hmm.
the range is exceeding the integer, while storing, how it will, whether it will store by itself or we need to
It
handle
will
that.
throw a compiler error saying that the integer that you are trying to multiply is not an integer. You have to store it as a long. It will throw an
Okay,
error and you can identify it. But
thank you.
for in real time, we will not do all those stuffs. Okay,
Understand.
these
Yes.
are this itself is a maximum. In my 10 years
Okay.
of experience, I haven't used long at all. I have been using only integer.
Okay.
Okay. So similarly, we have one more data type called Boolean. Okay, this Boolean will just show you whether it is true or false. We have only two statements here to store here. Okay, whenever it is true or false, it can store only these two values. Okay, and we have character. Okay, this type of this thing is for storing single characters, single letters. For example, if you want to store only one letter, you can use character. And again, in real time, we will not use this. Okay, so you can store the ASCII values. Maybe you would have studied in your school days. Okay, we have ASCII values which are computer understandable language. Okay, so 65 is the starting letter of the alphabets. So whenever you are storing something as 65, and if you are trying to print the character, it will print it as A. Okay, so from A it starts. So for B it will be 66. Similarly, if you Google it and see, right, ASCII values in Google, you can see that difference. Is it clear? So these are the primitive data types available in the data type Java. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Anyone have any doubts in this? These are very important when you are trying to store some value. Okay. So let's move on to non-primitive data types. So non-primitive data types, these refers to objects, okay, not actual data values. So whenever you are trying to store something, right, string. in string you will be storing it inside the double quotes I told, right? So in the double quotes it is a sequence of characters. Okay, it refers to an object and it is not the actual data value. So whenever you are trying to store some string, basically string is not a data type, actually it is a class. We'll see that in the future, okay, as I told you. You do not worry about it. So array is a collection of similar data types. Okay, whenever you are trying to store in this method channel, whatever I showed, we can store only one value for each data type, right? Whereas for array, you can store similar data types. How many numbers you want, you can keep on storing. Is that clear? That is array. And class is nothing but we will be declaring the class as an object and we'll be using whatever. It is also a blueprint, right? So it is not a data type. Is it clear? These are all, we are the ones who are creating it, and we are whatever the programs methods that we want to use, right? All these things we are the ones who are entering the values for all these things, correct? Whereas here these things are already predefined. That is the basic difference. Is it clear? These data types are not actually defined by the programming language but are created by the programmers. Okay, they are also called as reference variables or object references. Okay, since they reference a memory location which stores the data, we are telling it as data types, but it is a non-primitive data types. Okay, no need to get confused. If you are getting confused, just let me know. I can explain again. Are you guys okay? Just give a thumbs up if you all are fine with this. Yeah, thanks. So this is a program. Okay, what I want you guys to try. Okay, so you have to create a program called data type demo, and then
Can
you
you
have to
please unmute?
do. Okay, so I want you guys to try this program. Okay, so integer, so for primitive data types I want you guys to create integer, have your age, and create a double. Okay, create something like your salary and what section or grade, whatever that you want to create, you can create for character, and you can store only one digit, one letter here. Okay, don't try to enter more than one letter, it will throw an error. And similarly for boolean, you can give true or false alone. Okay, try all these methods and let me know if you have any issues with this. So one more thing is there, like whenever you are trying to save a variable. Okay, whenever you are trying to create a data type and you are saving something inside that, but if you don't give any value, by default the system, I mean the Java system, is having values for it. So if you don't save any value for byte, the default value it will print as 0. For short also it will print as 0. For integer, for long, for everything it will print in this format. Okay. Similarly for float, double, boolean. So for boolean it will print it as false. If you don't give any value and store it, it will automatically throw a false in that. Okay. For character it will just give a space, blank space. You will not be able to see whatever what it is printing over there. Okay. So this is for default values. So so far whatever you learned, you know to create a class, you know to create an object, everything, right? So I want you guys to create this exercise. Okay, what you want to do is we have to create a class called expensive cars. Okay, in that I want you guys to create some data types, use variables using some data types. Okay, like price, car, what is the maximum speed of the car. Okay, similarly you have to create like this, and then create a method. Okay, and method should be like driving. System can have reverse, right? For car and all, you have driving, reverse, parking, braking, all these methods you can create. Okay, and then create one more class as showroom. I want you guys to create only the variables and methods in this expensive class. Okay, and then I want you to create one more class called showroom and create objects like Mercedes, BMW, Toyota, etc. Okay, so whatever you want to create, you can create for objects and then call those things into your program. So this one I'll do, And I have a practice session program for you guys to do it for a dog maintenance system, pet maintenance system. So I'll show you how to create all these things, and I want you guys to do it the same for this one. Okay, shall we get into the programming now?
Yes, sure.
Yes, sure.
Okay. So today what we'll do, we'll create a class called expensive cars. First we'll create a package day2. So whenever you are creating a package, it should start with small letter, correct? So once after creating a package, create a class. You have to right click on the package, new, click on class. Okay, we'll have a class called expensive cars. Okay, so in this, I'm not going to create any main method. I'm going to declare only what I have told. I have to create an expensive car. I have to add the properties like price, speed. Okay, so I will create all these methods here. Okay, I mean variables. I'm just declaring. I'm not initializing any value here. Is it clear?
Okay.
I'm just creating. I'm declaring the variable or no. I'm not storing any values here. I want the model, how many gears it has, what is the highest speed, what is the color, what is the make when they make that car, and is it a left-hand drive or not. So it is. I should have only true or false, right? So I'm giving boolean. Similarly, transmission. It is manual or automatic, and how many tires it has, how many doors it has. So I'm just declaring the value here. Then I want to print all these things like this. So I'm creating a method called display characteristics of the car. Okay. Inside this method, I'm just printing the value. So I have created this method as a void method. Is it clear, everyone? I didn't have any return type here because I just want to print.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I'll do, so as I told you, I created the variables and I've created one method, and I want to create methods for driving, reverse, and braking also. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll create a method public void driving. This is how we'll be creating a method. You guys know the syntax, right? Access specifier, return type, and then method name. It should be having a brackets. Okay, I'm just saying the car is in. So for printing it, we have to use sysout space control space. When you give that, it will automatically change it to system.out.println. Okay, I'm saving car is in drive mode. Okay, so similarly, I'm creating one more method for parking, and I say car is in parking mode. Okay, so we have completed all these three things, correct? Now I have to create a class called showroom. Inside the same package, I'm creating a class called, or instead of showroom, I'll say characteristics of car. Okay, so I am going to execute. I'm going to run this program. So whenever we are running a program, we should have main method, correct? So I'm just typing method as main and then control space. It will give you a main method syntax. So inside this, we have to declare this car, correct? Like this. So the car class that we are going to. So if you see here, this is the main program. So we created it as a car, right? So we are declaring that here. Okay. Similarly, here we have to call this expensive car. We have to create an object here for this program. EC equal to new expensive car. Is it clear, guys? So I have created a class called expensive car. I have just declared the values. I haven't stored any values in the data type. And I have created three methods. Okay. One is to print all the details that I'm going to save in the characteristics of the car program. Okay. So and I have two methods which are parking and driving. So I'm going to call all these things in the another class by creating an object. Is it clear so far?
Both are in different
Yes.
classes, right?
Yeah, two different classes.
Yes.
We are
Okay.
trying to call the
The same
methods that are
package.
created in the another class inside the same package. Okay. So I'm just typing ec dot. So whenever I call this object, whatever string values or the values that we have declared, right? Can you see all these things? These are integers, string, whatever it is boolean, whether it is an
Yeah.
left hand drive or not, all these things. So whenever we are calling this by giving the object name and dot, it will automatically show whatever the methods, and can you see display characteristics, driving equals, everything is visible here, correct?
Yeah.
So
It will
what
show
I,
only from the package or it will from the.
if you want to use it from another project also you can use, but the thing is you have to declare it as public. If you are declaring it as some other thing, right, like private, then it will not be visible in that.
Okay.
So I have declared this class, this method as a private method, right? So
Mm-hmm.
once I save this and if I try to see this ec dot, can you see display characteristics has disappeared? It's not showing here now. Only
Okay.
driving method is displayed. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the specifier and all I'll teach you, don't
Excuse me,
worry.
sir. Hello.
Yes, Harika, yes.
Yes. So if we are mentioning private for a method, so we can access that
Your
method only.
voice is breaking. Can you come again? Okay, try one more time. Can you unmute and try?
Here is, can you hear my voice now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we are mentioning our method as private,
Mm-hmm.
so how can we access that private method? So is it accessible only within its respective class, just
Yes.
like
Yes.
static?
Whenever you are giving something as private, you will not be able to access it out of your class. Okay. For that, we have to use setter, getter, setter method. Using that, we can do that. All these things I'll be covering in later sessions. Okay. Don't need to worry all those things.
Okay,
So in
okay,
this
okay.
access specifier, I'll give you all the details about it. Okay. So now just understand how to use data types, how to declare value, and how to create a method and reuse it in the next class. Okay, using creating an object and then how to use it. Okay. So first, what I'll do, what I have declared here first. So what is the model? So we'll just give the model name here. Okay. First, we'll go with the model. I'm saying that this is a, so model is declared as what, string, correct? So we have to give a string value stored here. So through error. Okay, I should not store it inside a bracket. I should store it like this. Okay, model is nothing but I20 something. Okay. Similarly, if I want to see whether it is a left-hand drive or not, so I20 is a left-hand drive or not. It's not a left-hand drive, so I'm saving it as false. And then we see dot whether uh, what's its transmission, whether it is an automatic or manual. I'm saying it is a manual. Okay. So this is how we will be declaring some variables in the main system, and we'll be trying to print it over here. Okay. So what I'll do, ec dot display characteristics. So when I call this method, whatever I have stored here, right, it will automatically get displayed here. But here, what I have done in the display characteristics, I have asked for model, year, high speed, color, okay, but I haven't stored all these things mentioned here, correct? So what will happen? Any guesses?
Default value will be displayed.
Yes. Can you see? So number of gears is 0, and the maximum speed is also mentioned as 0. Here also it is 0, and for string it is mentioned as null. Okay. So here in the data type we saw, right, whatever the primitive data types, if you are not giving a proper value, I told you it will get printed in default value, right? So you got the output here. Is it clear now? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So this is how we will be creating a method. Okay, we created an expensive car method and we declared variables, and then we declared the actions, whatever the methods that we can do, and created another class, and then we created an object for the main class, and we called all the methods. Okay, this is how you have to do. And if you want to declare one more method, and what with the same class name, okay, from this same expensive model, if you want to declare something, what we can do is we can just say expensive car ec1 equal to new expensive car. Like this you can create n number of methods for the same class itself. This is called reusability. Okay, so you can create one, declare one at one point, and you can keep on reusing it how many times ever you want, like this. So I stored a model name as ec here as I20, right? Now here I'll do some driver. Okay, and I'll change this as true, and I say it is an automatic model. And I try to call this, so to see a difference between these two methods, I'll just have a line over here. Okay, when I try to execute it, and you see, first I20 got printed, and the second one after the line got printed is driver. So like this, you can keep on adding how many ever program lines of program you want to print, you can print. Is it clear, guys?
We can use the object name as EC1 for this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I copy pasted, right? So it got
Yeah.
changed.
Okay.
But still, it is calling the same method. Can you see?
Yes, same method. Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
overwriting. Just if you don't call it the proper name that you created here, what will happen is the values that you are giving here will be stored for this CC itself.
EC.
It will be overwritten. Okay. So
So
once you,
final value of the EC will be the triber or something, right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
So in order to avoid that, whatever the object name that you are creating, try to call it using it. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Thanks for reminding.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is how it should be working. Okay. In this, any doubt? So I want you guys to do the homework for this program. What you have to do is, this is a pet management system. Okay, I'll give you three different types of dogs. So how you will identify a dog? Can you guys unmute and say?
By their breed. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, by the breed, say
Color.
size, the dog,
Color.
and the age of the dog, color, all these things you can identify, right? What are these things? These are variables, correct? Age, size. So if you see here, we have three different dogs and three different colors, and the size is also different, correct? So this is how you have to identify the variables of a class. Okay. So this is a class. This dog is a class. In that class, we have these many variables. Okay. So you have to identify the breed, what kind of breed is this, and what is the size of it, age of it, or the color. All these four things you have to declare. Okay. After declaring it, you have to identify the common characteristics. What dog does generally? It will be barking when someone comes. Okay. It will eat, sleep. Correct. So all these things are methods. So first you declare a variable like breed, size, age, and color, and you can give name also. Okay. And common actions are all the dogs will eat, all the dog will sleep, all the dog will sit, all the dogs will run. So this is how you have to identify the actions. Is nothing but method. So I want you guys to create a class called dogs, and then objects and variables as size, age, color, and breed. Okay. And then I want you guys to create a methods called eat, sit, sleep, run, all these things. Okay, like this. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I want you guys to create one more class called uh, something with your name. You can name it anything. And I want you guys to create a object for the dog class and call all these methods and give each one name, one value. And I want you guys to print it. Is it clear? So this is the homework for today.
Okay.
Yeah. If you guys have any doubt, you can ask me to next once you are done with that. Okay. So yesterday we started with the methods, but I wanted you guys to learn the data type. Then only we have to move to methods. I told, right. So this is specific to that. Okay. So we'll see methods. What is a method? Method is a block of code. As I told you, it will have a return type and it should have a method name. Okay. And if it is a parameterized method, then the value should be like this. And you should have a return when you are having a return type. Then it should have a return value at the end also. Okay. So we'll see how many types of methods are there. So instance method, it belongs to the object, as we all know. You have to give the object name and then you have to call that method. And similarly, we have static methods. Whenever you are declaring something as static, then you have to, it belongs to the specific class and it is not an object needed. Okay, directly you can call the class name and then use that static method. Okay. And parameterized method is nothing but it will take inputs, okay, whatever you are creating, and it will have a input value in that. Okay, that is called as parameterized method. And non-parameterized method is nothing but it will just show the value whatever you have inside that method. Okay, for example, if you see in the expensive car class, so these are all what, this doesn't have any parameters passed here, correct? So these are all what kind of method? It is non-parameterized method, and it is also an instance method because it doesn't have static keyword mentioned anywhere here, correct? Are you guys getting it? So instance method and non-parameterized method, we can call it either. Okay, it doesn't have a parameter and it doesn't have a static keyword. So this is called as a instance method as well as non-parameterized method. Okay, and it doesn't have a return type also. So it is a void method. You can call it this way also. So as I told you, a simple method that we created yesterday is for calculator. We'll be creating public int and then we'll be creating a method called add, because this is a return type which will have integers as the output, right? So we are giving it as public int. Add is the method name and we are passing the parameters inside this itself. So when you are trying to call this and if you want to print this value, what will happen is it will ask you for entering the values. Whereas here, if you see, I just directly declared. So if here, I didn't store any value here, right? So these are all global variables. We call whatever we declare outside the method and inside the class is called as global variables. I'll show you that also. Don't get confused. So whenever you are parameterizing something and if you are calling that object using declaration of the class, and if you are calling this method here, right, what we have to do is this is how we have to pass the values. So whatever you mention here, if you are mentioning it as integer, then you have to pass the integer value. If you are mentioning a string value here, then you have to pass the string value here. Are you guys getting it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how a method will look like, and let's see what is variables. As I told, local variables and instance variables. There are two types of variables. So here, if you see, this is a method, correct? Public void add numbers is a method. Inside this, they have declared two variables. One is integer a is equal to 10, and one is integer b equal to 20. And then they are printing it here itself. So whatever is declared inside a specific method is called as local variable. Is it clear?
It can't be accessed elsewhere outside the class, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Outside the method itself, you cannot access.
Okay, outside the method itself. Okay.
Yeah, the declaration whatever you do outside inside a method, you cannot call it outside the method also. Okay. So it exits only during the execution, method execution. Specifically, this method should be executed only that time it will be executed. Okay, and it should be initialized before. Like you cannot get the value. Like here we are doing it right. You are just declaring it and then getting the value when you are executing it. Correct, using the method name. Whereas when you are creating a specific method, a variable inside a specific method, you should definitely initialize it. Is it clear?
Okay.
It is not accessible outside the method also. So this is called as local variable. So let's see an example here. So
Excuse me. Can you
yeah,
go to the PPT?
yes,
If we are declaring within the class and outside the method, whether it can be accessed elsewhere in the within the class
yes,
but for other method as
yes,
well.
yes. That is called as global variables, instance variables. So you will be declaring outside. That is what we have done here, right? So we have declared outside the method and it is inside the class so that we are able to access it somewhere on the class. So that is instance class that we'll see later. Just a minute. First we'll go through this. So whenever you are declaring something inside a method, you will not be able to get it outside. I told you, right? So what I'll do here. Here we have declared a value string model. Okay. So if I declare also, it will not throw any error. Okay. Or if I don't declare any value, I mean, I don't store any value. I'm just declaring the name alone means it will not throw an error. Whereas if you want to, this is a public driving row. I don't want to disturb this. I will go to calculator method itself. So here, when you try to add a method called public integer add, return should have a plus. Okay. So here what I'm doing, I'm trying to store a value called a is equal to 10 and int b is equal to 20. Okay. So now you can see there is no error over here, correct? The add method, there is no error. It is looking good. Okay. If I try to remove this value and if I try to save this, it will throw an error. Can you see? May not have been initialized. That is the reason you will not be able to return the program. But what I'll do is I'll create a value here outside the method and I'm saying it as, so if you see here, the color itself will differ. So whatever you declare it as global will be in blue color. Can you see here? Whereas the methods that I'm calling here are in red, maroon color. Can you see the difference? So the global variable will be in blue color and instance variable, the local variable will be in brown color. Clear, guys? Still it is throwing error because you cannot use a method inside here, a method without storing any value inside that. So once I remove it, it will automatically take the global variable here, so it is not throwing an error inside the method. Is it clear?
Yeah, yes.
So this is how you have to identify whether it is calling a global method or a local variable. Okay, it is calling a local variable or a global variable. So if it is in blue color, then you can clearly say it is a global variable. I mean instance variable. Okay, so this is how you guys have to identify. So it will not allow you to use before you are initializing it. Okay, it should be initialized before using, and it exists only inside the method. So for example, when I'm creating a method, instead of creating here, if I go and create inside this method, and I am declaring a value also as 10 and 20. Okay, if I try to call this value here, if I type a or something, it will throw an error. I want to print a plus b something. Okay, so if you see here, it will throw error because it is not a global variable, correct? Because it is inside this method alone. So what I'll do, I'll take it out and declare it in the global place, and you can see it is in blue color. And if you see this error, okay, because I haven't saved this program, and we have to say that it is by catch block. Oh, okay, you have to give static keyword to this a. So we are saying that it can be used in any method. Okay, then you see the error has gone now.
Why you mention it as a static?
I told right, whenever you are creating a method or if you are declaring some value, it should not be changed. If you are reusing here, if you are reusing inside any method, main method or something, you have to tell the system that it is static. It will not change. Then only it will able to access it.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys are clear, right? We have global variable and local variable. So local variable will be declared inside the method. Okay. And local variable or global, I mean instance variable or global variable will be declared inside the class, and it can be accessed by any method. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, if you don't have any value stored for the instance variable, then it will automatically take the default values and it will be printing. Okay, similarly, as I told you, the local variables must be initialized, okay, before use, otherwise the compiler will throw an error. I told you, right? So if you create a main method, and in that main method if you're trying to just declare the value alone, it will automatically throw an compiler error like this. It will throw error inside the data type. I showed you, right? That is what I have mentioned here. So this is the main method. If I don't declare any value, I mean I'm not storing anything inside this int a and b. Okay, when I try to call it here, it will throw an error like this. Okay, so that is what I have mentioned in this slide. So when you are declaring a value inside the main method, and if you are trying to call it, it will throw an error like this. So Java does not allow to use of local variables assigning them before assigning a value to them. Okay, it does not provide a default value for local variables. Are you guys clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, this is the main key points that you have to understand. So whenever you are using a local variable that is inside a method, it cannot be initialized as default. It should not have any default values. You have to definitely save some value inside that. Okay, and it will throw an compiler error. Similarly, when you are using an instance variable, that is you have declared a variable outside the method, and if you are trying to call it inside a method, it will allow you, and it will get the default value getting printed like this. Okay, that is the basic difference between local and instance variable. So this is just a program for you guys to understand. As we created the expensive car already, right? So this is continuation to that only. So you have to declare the variables outside like this, and then create a method and try to call the values that you have stored here. It will be getting printed. Okay. So far, any doubts? You guys are clear, right? We saw methods, variables, and data types today. So I
Yes.
want you guys to create this. I'll share this slide to you guys. You just go through this, read this, okay, and then try to create a program like this. I want the output to be printed like this. Breed Napoleon should be the print. This brand, this breed name should be Napoleon. So large, 5 years, black, and this one is Maltese, and this is Chow Chow. So these three outputs I want you to get printed like this. Have a space like this, a line printed in between, and I want you guys to try it out. Okay. Any doubts in this?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so we saw data types, and in that we have two kind of data types: primitive, non-primitive, and we have the default values for it and how many size it is allocated and how to use, where to use. All these things we learned today. Okay, and then we saw about the variable storage methods, everything. Okay, so I'll share this to you guys. You guys have to go through it and then complete this practical exercise today. Okay,
Okay.
anyone have any doubt in this? All clear, right? So tomorrow
Yeah.
we'll see what is operators and control statement if we have time. Okay. So if you guys need any help in creating a loops concept, if you want more programs to try it out, so this is what I created today, right? Drive. This is a class blueprint that we tried. I'll share this to you guys. Like you can create a number of cards like this to store. And this one is for data types. If you want to understand even more clearer and you know some notes, I can share this data types also. Okay, you can try this program. And this is the program for dog class that I have given you guys today. So I want you guys to write and come back to me if you are having any doubts. I'll share anyway. I'll share this document tomorrow, not by today. I want you guys to try, and then I'll share this document. You can refer to this and your program so that you can have an understanding of how to do what. Okay. Can we end the session for today?